Hey, this is Rick Casalage, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. Today, I wanted to go through a question Anna had sent in. So Anna actually posted this up on the Exercises for Injuries Facebook secret group, which is a place where all my customers end up going, where they can end up asking me questions. And usually I'll do a written response, but sometimes I'll end up doing a video like this explaining things in a little bit more detail. So what Anna asked is, how do you incorporate the pelvic floor muscles and the core muscles into the movements, especially the first three exercises: curl up, side plank, and bird dog. So the pelvic floor muscles are pretty much your washroom muscles, and targeting those muscles end up being important when it relates to, usually if someone's recovering from an injury. It could be back pain, it could be hip pain, where we'll end up focusing on those pelvic floor muscles, or it could be someone that's just given birth that needs to kind of retrain their whole core area. So you might end up having to target those pelvic floor muscles. How I end up targeting those pelvic floor muscles will end up being just giving the cue of preventing yourself from going number one and number two. So it's not like you're lightly contracting those. It's not like you're in the car and you're 10 minutes from getting home and you're clenching for dear life when it comes to holding number one and number two. It ends up being a light contraction that you end up doing, and then you end up bringing the core muscles. Now I'll kind of explain each of the three exercises that Anna asked when it comes to incorporating the pelvic floor. And when it comes to cueing of the pelvic floor, I usually do this at the start when someone's at a lower level, they're in pain, or they're recovering from pain, or recovering from pregnancy. I'll start there, and then what happens is that cue of activating the pelvic floor just ends up moving into just being part of activating the core. Okay, so when it comes to healthy people or non-injured people or conditioned people, I will not incorporate the pelvic floor. I'll just focus on activating the core. Okay, now let's kind of explain, let me just kind of go through this. So I'll get Alex to go through, we'll go through the side plank, and I'll kind of go through the cueing that I end up doing when it relates to the side plank. Okay, so going back down to the start, going back down, okay. Oh no, so yeah, there we go, there, you're there. So in this position, what you end up doing is activating the pelvic floor, so preventing yourself from going number one, number two. Then you're gonna activate the core, and what I end up going with the core is like you're bracing for a punch, you're protecting yourself from that punch. Once again, it's a light contraction, so pelvic floor, then core, then you're gonna go up into that side plank. There we go. You're gonna hold it, or up there, 5-second hold, you're gonna come back down, okay? Then you're gonna relax the core, and then you're gonna relax the pelvic floor. That's how I end up cueing it for someone at the start, like I was saying, that's in pain, recovering from pain, or recovering from pregnancy. And then when we get to the next group of people, I'll just end up focusing on the core, which is like bracing the abdominal area like you're bracing for a punch, and then moving into that plank position. I'll get you to do that, Alex, moving into the plank, good. And good alignment from the side here, good alignment in the side from there, and there we go. So that ends up being the cueing when it comes to the plank movement. Now moving into the bird dog, so Alex is going to go into a 4-point position. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. So what I'll end up getting her to do, if we're incorporating the pelvic floor, is I'll get her to activate the pelvic floor, so preventing herself from going to the washroom. And then she's going to brace her abdominal area like she's bracing for a punch, and then she's going to reach with one arm and reach with the other, good, leg, good. Hold it for a second or two, come back to the start, okay? Then she can relax, and then once again, pelvic floor, core, and then the other arm. Good. And back to the start, and then relax. Now when it comes to someone fit, I'll get them to brace, just brace the abdominal area, go through the movement. Okay, good, back to the start. They're gonna hold that contraction, they're gonna go to the other side, and they'll end up doing like 5 repetitions each side, so about like at 10 total, while keeping things tight when we start getting into a healthy population person. Perfect, good. Then when we get to the curl up, so Alex is going to move on to her back with one leg straight, one hand underneath the back, and then one hand in behind the head. Perfect. So with the leg straight, that ends up locking the pelvis. With the hand underneath the back, we're kind of looking at, we don't want excessive pressure on that hand. And then the hand in behind the head just helps support the head. Now with this one, with the curl up, I'm completely relaxed in that abdominal area. So I'm not bracing or anything. What I'll end up getting the person to do, if we're at a pelvic floor level, I'll get them to activate their pelvic floor, and then Alex is going to end up going through that curl up movement. Good. And then back down, and then relaxing in that rectus abdominis, and then relaxing that pelvic floor. Okay, and then again, so activating the pelvic floor, going to that curl, and then coming back down. Good. And then when it comes to someone that's more of a healthy population, I won't cue that pelvic floor, we'll just go into that curl up movement. And with the curl up, what we're really targeting is that rectus abdominis six-pack muscle. Perfect. Thank you, Alex. So there you go. Thank you very much, Anna, for the question. That's how I end up cueing the pelvic floor with the core and going through those three common movements. Now, I mean, if you're suffering from back pain and you want some of my best tips and tricks when it comes to overcoming back pain, what I recommend for you to do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Back Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send you that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this video on a mobile device, tablet, smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/backs. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe so you'll end up getting future pain relieving videos.